Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotarasata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotarasata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the book. Okay. So, I seek the blessings of the senior Vaishnavas, Bhakti-Virad Bhagavad Maharaj, Ram Govinda Swami, and all the other assembled Vaishnavas, so that I may speak something for my own purification. And as well as for your pleasure. So, reading from Transcendental Diaries, chapter 9, entitled Sridham Mayapur, starting from February 5th, 1976. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. February 5th, 1976. The discussions of the morning walks are getting very lively now, with Hridayananda, Tamal Krishna, and Hari Krish all debating with Srila Prabhupada on the latest scientific theories. They, of course, get soundly defeated. Hridayananda presented the theory that although God originally created everything, once things were set in motion, there was nothing else for him to do. Therefore, he is now inactive. God has become dormant. Prabhupada replied that being dormant doesn't mean being out of the picture. Prabhupada demonstrated this by using himself as an example. I am now walking, but if I choose not to walk for half an hour, that doesn't mean I am not active. The capacity to act remains. One simply has to understand how God is acting. Prabhupada explained that when he was a child, he wondered how the gramophone was working. He thought there must be a man inside the box. Otherwise, how could it work? Although this perception was childish, still he knew there must be some person behind it. Similarly, nature is working, and this indicates an active God behind it. Just like there was a cloud and rain. Now it is not raining, he pointed out. So there is activity already. It is being managed. So you cannot say God is dormant. He is acting because his creation is acting. And God says, under my direction, the nature is working. How can you say he is dormant? So, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like I have one client, one customer, and he has a big company, very successful company, but his company is here in South Africa, but he lives in Dubai. And so he's not present here in South Africa, in his company, going every day to work into the office and things and doing things. But he's set up his company, he built it up, and then he's gone to Dubai, and everything is running. But he is still managing everything from there, right? So just like that, Krishna has given the devatas the task to manage everything. So they are the managers, and Krishna has nothing to do, but yet he is still doing everything, right? Like that. So Prabhupada is pointing this out. So you can say that, he says, how can you say that Krishna is dormant? Because he's not dormant, he's still doing everything, but giving direction, giving orders to the managers. And therefore, like in that, when I'm dealing with that company, I'm dealing with the managers of those companies. So one day I asked the owner of the company, he called me up, and we were discussing something. And so I said, okay, so let's meet, and then we can go look at the certain thing that we were talking about. And then at that time I didn't know he wasn't living in South Africa. And then he said, no, but I live in Dubai, so you won't meet me very often. Right? And then when I read this, and then I was thinking about that incident, that he's there and everything is still running smoothly here. So Hridayananda threw in another point of contention. The main argument among the atheist philosophers is that God could not exist, because if he existed, if God were good, then why would we be suffering? God would stop our suffering. Srila Prabhupada's swift retort exposed the faulty logic. Prabhupada said, because you are criminal. There are so many persons in the state, not all of them are suffering in the prison house, only the criminals. So that is the proof you are a criminal. He concluded by saying that whether we enjoy or suffer is simply a question of the use of our God-given free will. So it's explained that this material world is like a prison house. And because we are criminals because we wanted to steal the identity of Krishna. We wanted to become Krishna. And so we put into this prison house, this material world. And in the prison, we are suffering. The prisoners are suffering. So there may be some prisoners suffering more than others, depending on their behavior. So just like that, in this material world, we are all suffering, some suffering more than others, but in different ways. And Prabhupada says that it is simply a question of the use of our God-given free will. So we can use this free will, this opportunity that we have, although we're in this prison house, to become very good criminals. And like in a prison house, when the behavior of the criminal is good, the sentence may be reduced, like that. So yes, when we take up Krishna consciousness, and then Krishna, he says that he will take care of us. He will take away all our sinful reactions, and we should have no fear. Just surrender unto him. So like that, and if we do this, then we can get out of this material world, this prison house. After Guru Puja, Prabhupada presided over a combined deity installation and sannyas initiation ceremony. The head Prajari, Jananivas, assisted by newly arrived GBC Jagadish Das, performed the Abhishek of Sri Sri Gaur Nitai. The beautiful 20-inch high neem wood deities were installed as the proprietors of the ocean-going boat Nitai Padakamala. Sudama Maharaj plans to sail up and down the Ganges with their lordships and other Mayapur devotees, preaching from village to village. After the deities were installed, Harikesh, and Viraha were awarded sannyas. Mahavira will wait until Gaur Purnim. Srila Prabhupada had the mantra and purport from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 3.6 read aloud. As a Brahmana from Avanti Desh said, I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. This was approved by the previous acharyas, who were fixed in firm devotion to the Lord, Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada gave a short talk explaining that sannyas is simply a facility to preach and spread Krishna consciousness. He awarded the two men their new cloth and tridandas, the traditional monk staff. Then he told Harikesh to simply add Swami to his name. He renamed Viraha to Viraha Prakash Swami. Then he returned to his room while the devotees conducted the fire ceremony. As soon as he settled in his room, Prabhupada asked Hridayananda Maharaj how the two sannyasis would be engaged. He was informed that Viraha Prakash Swami plans to stay in Mayapur for a few weeks to get Prabhupada's association before returning to South America. But Prabhupada said that was not good. He should immediately go out and preach. So, in that purport to that Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita verse from Madhya Leela, Prabhupada says that if one accepts the sannyas order, his main business is to devote his life completely to the service of Krishna. And if one does not completely devote his mind and body to the service of the Lord, he does not actually become a sannyasi. And Prabhupada says that it's not simply a matter of changing dress. He also states from the Bhagavad Gita, one who works devotedly for the satisfaction of Krishna is a sannyasi. The dress is not sannyas, but the attitude of service to Krishna is. So, I was thinking that this is sannyas, to dedicate your entire mind and body to the service of Krishna. And so like Prabhupada says, it's not the dress that makes you a sannyasi. So even in our congregation, most of the congregation are grihastas, right? So even a grihasta can be sannyasi. If they're following the 4 rules and regulations strictly, and have taken shelter of the holy names of Krishna, and have dedicated their lives, mind, body, and soul to preaching Krishna consciousness. So like that. Like it's even said that a grihasta is still a brahmachari, right? Grihasta brahmachari, because the grihasta couple is following the rules and regulations, right? So that means they're not having intoxication, they're not gambling, no meat eating, and no illicit sex. Sex only for propagating good Krishna conscious children, like that. So, I was thinking we all can be sannyasis, even though we're not wearing the sannyas dress. Like Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu and we were all speaking last week, right? That it's time he changed his cloth now. And he was mentioning that the cloth is only for preaching purposes. Yeah. But you are preaching, so yeah. Hridayananda Maharaj explained that Viraha Prakash only speaks Spanish, so it would be difficult for him to preach in India. But Prabhupada promptly called for the 2 new sannyasis and told them, leave immediately for somewhere, anywhere, and preach. When there is a fire, if you don't know the language, somehow you communicate and the message gets through. Even if you cannot speak the language properly, it doesn't matter. Preaching must be done. He said that the best use of intelligence is to accept sannyas and go preach. It is also the best way to associate with the Guru. Personal association is not so important, but to associate with the teachings of the Guru is essential. Prabhupada said that he had not seen his Guru Maharaj for more than 10 or 15 days in 14 years. Thus his words were of personal encouragement and comfort to Harikesh Swami as well, since he is now leaving Srila Prabhupada's personal service. So Prabhupada says that so far as personal association with the Guru is concerned, that he was only with his Guru Maharaj 10 or 15 days in 14 years. But he said that he never left his association of his spiritual master, not even for a moment. Because Prabhupada said, because I am following his instructions, I have never felt any separation. So this is the position that we may be close in close proximity with our spiritual masters, serving them maybe, but the real thing is taking the instruction and going out and preach. And every spiritual master will give the instruction to preach Krishna consciousness. So this is the real thing. And when we're following that instruction, then we're in the association of the spiritual master. Once His Holiness Kadamba Swami said that someone asked him, or wrote a letter I think to him, and said, Maharaj, I wish I could be with you all the time, but I can't because of their material circumstances. They're living in a different country, and I think they were working and things. But they wish they were with him. And he replied that you're with me every time you put your hands in your bead bag and you're chanting the holy name. Right? So this is the instruction of the spiritual master, and he always told us that the most important thing that he wants his disciples to do is to take shelter of the holy name of Krishna. Right? So like that, even though he may have left this world now, but we're still with him. You know, his disciples are still with him every time we're chanting japa, every time we're going out and spreading the holy name, because that was his instruction. He wanted us to preach, and he said, do something big for Krishna. I recall one time Swarup Damodar Prabhu was giving a talk, and he said, so he was serving His Holiness Giriraj Swami, and Maharaj and Swarup Damodar Prabhu appeared from behind the curtain, and then everyone obviously offered obeisances, and then Giriraj Swami turned to Swarup Damodar and said, they're offering obeisances to me, not to you. You know, I think trying to maybe cut his pride or something. But like that, even though we may be in close proximity with the spiritual master, it doesn't mean that we're big devotees now all of a sudden. So we have to do something for Krishna to spread this movement, the preaching, and then the spiritual master will be very pleased with us. Then Prabhupada also says that there are some of my god brothers here in India. This is a letter now that he sent to one of the disciples. There are some of my god brothers here in India who had constant personal association with Guru Maharaj, but who are neglecting his orders. This is just like the bug who is sitting on the lap of the king. He may be very puffed up by his position, but all he can succeed in doing is biting the king. Personal association is not so important as association through service. So I think that statement makes the point. Okay, so February 6th, 1976. The two Swamis left for Calcutta this morning. Harikesh Maharaj will go to the USA via London. I gave him my quilted cotton jacket, a bagal bundi from Vrindavan, because he had no clothes for colder climates. Before he left, he gave me a 3-page handwritten list of instructions on how to cook for Srila Prabhupada. So it goes on stating, Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai. So he goes on to speak about recipes, how to cook and things. I'm going to skip all that. It just gives names of vegetables and how to make paneer and things. I think everybody knows. Okay, let's skip that. It rained early this morning, delaying the construction work on the new building. But later the thick mist and clouds cleared away as the warm sunshine evaporated the haze. Prabhupada was out on the balcony just after breakfast. He paused to look out over the rail and smiled as the sun's rays filtered through. Niharam iva bashkara, he quoted from the 6th canto. In this verse, it is a verse that describes how the appearance of the holy name destroys sinful life just as the sun dissipates fog. Everything he sees reminds him of Krishna. Yeah, so this verse, Niharam iva bashkara. Bashkara refers to the sun. And the sun immediately dissipates mist or fog, right, as well as the darkness. So Prabhupada says that we should try to make the sun of Krishna rise within our hearts. And it's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also it is stated that Krishna is like the sun and that Maya, the illusory energy, is darkness. And as soon as the sun of Krishna is present, the darkness of Maya immediately disappears. So, by following this process of Krishna consciousness, or by not following this process, it is very difficult to remove the darkness from our heart. Right? But when we take seriously to the chanting of Krishna's holy names, when we're chanting Kirtanam and we're hearing Shravanam, like Bhakti-Priyar Bhagavat Maharaj explained yesterday in the program, the chanting and the hearing, and then when we try to chant attentively, trying to hear every syllable that we are chanting, and then it enters into our ears and enters into the core of our heart, and then slowly the sun of Krishna starts to rise within our hearts, and the darkness of Maya is dispelled slowly. So this is the process, taking shelter of the holy name. It may sound simple, but it's definitely not that easy, not that simple, right? Because, like I've always explained when we are discussing, that we are chanting and suddenly the most horrible thought will enter into our mind, and you know, it's like how you're trying to chant Krishna's name and then such thoughts enter into the mind. And it's because we're so contaminated. Over years and years, we've been accumulating so much of these desires, you know, that the mist is so thick, you know, you can hardly see anything that's happening in front of you. Just like when you're driving in the night, and the mist is really thick. Like when we go home at nights, when we going on our way to our house, there's always mist, always, and you can't see like from here to where Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu is sitting. You know, that's how thick the mist is. So that's our consciousness right now, and we have to I was thinking, especially myself, seriously take shelter of Krishna, of his holy names, of the Vaishnavas, of Srila Prabhupada's teachings, because there's no other way to dispel this Maya, this darkness. Right? So without following this process, it's very difficult to overcome this ocean of darkness. And Prabhupada says, like I explained, the method is very simple. Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then he goes on to explain that what happens, Cheto Dharpana Marjanam, right? By chanting, one can cleanse the dust from the mirror of the mind. And then we can perceive things very easily, very distinctly. Then we can understand what God is, who He is, what's His name, what this world is, and what our relationship with Krishna is. And also what our next life can be. And then I was thinking that, we shouldn't wait for our next life. We should try and perfect our lives in this very life, because it's like a race, like an athletics race, what's it called? Hurdles. Yeah. So when the starting gun fires, we're all running, running in this material world, in the crazy hustle and bustle of this material life, and what happens is we're trying to jump over these hurdles that are in the way. But what happens if you watch the hurdle race, you find that also runners trip on these hurdles, right? They trip on the hurdles and they stumble and they fall and things. And then I was thinking, but this is a race, and we should make it a race. The finish line should be love of Godhead. And these hurdles are so many stumbling blocks in our lives. Maya is putting so much of, because once you surrender to Krishna and you want to get out of this material world, then Maya hits you even harder, right? There's more things, more hurdles that's in the way, more temptations that Maya sends. So it's hurdles, and we're running towards the finishing line because we want to achieve love of Godhead in this lifetime. So we're running to the finish line, and we're jumping over these hurdles, and we trip and fall on these hurdles. But what should we do when we trip and fall? Should we give the race up? No. What does the runner do? He gets back up and he starts running again, right? So it's like that. And the more and more we do this, the more races we run towards the finishing line, we become better and better and better. And then what does the athlete do? He trains with a professional. He has a coach, right? So the coach are our spiritual masters. So we should take their instruction, their association, This is what an athlete does. When they're training with the coach advises, no, you do like this. Take off. When you take off, don't stand straight up, but gradually start get up and start running while you're running. So like that, they give us the secrets of becoming better. We should run towards the finishing line, jump over those hurdles. If we stumble and fall, then wake up and continue running, right? Like this, never give up the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. It may be difficult, yes, but in the association of those who have taste for chanting, then we can develop or steal some of that taste from them. Get their they'll give us the secrets of chanting, better rounds, more attentive rounds, So like that. And we are so lucky that we're in this International Society of Krishna Consciousness, because we would never learn this anywhere else. That the end goal is achieving love of Godhead. Nobody else teaches this, but Srila Prabhupada only taught us this. And then obviously we are learning this from his teachings. Because knowledge in school is like mundane knowledge. The only thing they teach you in school or universities or wherever, or or even other spiritual organizations, is how to manufacture and acquire products for sense gratification sometimes. Okay. Prabhupada has been invited to do a program in Dhaka, Bangladesh, where he will also accept a gift of land and a temple. Jayapataka Swami has been negotiating with some Gaudiya Math members there. Apparently they are willing to hand over their small preaching center to ISKCON. Hridayananda Maharaj will go there next week to prepare for the program. Just after lunch prasadam, Prabhupada sat on a chair out on a veranda. Tamal Krishna Maharaj and myself sat at his feet, eager as ever to share some quiet moments with His Divine Grace. Prabhupada volunteered to us that he had a dream last night in which he saw a planet where pious Mohammedans go. We smiled. I asked if such a place actually exists. Prabhupada tilted his head from side to side. Oh yes, he said, smiling. So there's planets for every different types of living entities, right? And then we see there's a planet even for pious Mohammedans. So I guess there's planets for pious Hindus as well. Okay, reading on. Jagdish and Nitai Prabhus have come to Mayapur to discuss with Prabhupada their proposals for the formation of the Vrindavan Gurukul. Nitai has been writing regularly with suggestions about curriculum and registration of the school. He feels that our Gurukul should be affiliated with other centers of learning, such as Agra University. This will help the students and other devotees to easily get student visas. Thus, they will be able to stay in India without difficulty. So Prabhupada called for the senior men to discuss their ideas for the school's curriculum. The two of them gave an elaborate outline of a comprehensive course of study, beginning from first level grammar school up to master's level in graduate studies. So after hearing their proposals, Prabhupada indicated that he considered many of their ideas to be impractical. Nitai's scheme seemed too academic and grandiose and attempted to cram in too much in too short time. So Prabhupada emphasized that he wants the children to become devotees, not simply scholars. Right? He is also not keen on the idea of affiliation with other schools, because then we will be required to conform to certain government standards that he doesn't feel are necessary. Overall, Prabhupada's response to their proposals was not very favorable, so they will reconsider and modify them. So you see that Prabhupada, he emphasized that children should become devotees. He wants them to become devotees and not simply scholars. Obviously, yes, we have to have some material education, right? But we should learn from Prabhupada that the main thing is to make them devotees. Okay, the others. Okay, we'll read on. February 7th, 1976. Today is Advaita Acharya's appearance day, a half-day fast, and the day chosen for the launch of the boat. In the early morning, Prabhupada was driven in a jeep to Hulagat on the Jalangi River, where he inspected the Nitai Pada Kamala. Its renovations are complete and the deities have been installed below deck. The small wooden forms of Sri Sri Gaur Nitai will be taken on procession through villages whenever the boat lands. It is a good facility, a half-ton jali class boat, about 40 feet long and 15 feet wide. It has a shallow draft and was previously used to transport hay. Okay, so it goes on describing the boat. I'm going to skip all that. So towards the end it says, Tamal Krishna Maharaj helped Srila Prabhupada on board over the rickety bamboo ramp. Prabhupada carefully inspected every corner of the boat. Then he sat for a few minutes on a straw mat while the devotees held kirtan. Prabhupada likes the idea of preaching on the boat, and he encouraged Sudama Maharaj to make it a success. Later in the morning, Sudama Maharaj sailed away down the Ganga with 17 men, including 4 of the older boys from the Gurukul, on their maiden voyage. It was a magnificent sight. Many local villages lined the shore, eager to witness their departure. So Prabhupada was very happy when something was done for preaching, for spreading the movement. And we see that he says, Tamal Krishna Maharaj says that Prabhupada carefully inspected every corner of the boat, right? So Prabhupada took care to give time to and to encourage the devotees. So like this we see that he wanted everything to be perfect. So he inspected the boat, every corner of the boat, to make sure that everything was perfect, and in order for the devotees to have, obviously devotees must be comfortable as well, you know. Prabhupada loved the devotees and he took care of them, we can see. It wasn't just like he gave some order and let them take care of it after that. During his massage, Prabhupada heard a letter from Balavanta Das, the temple president in Atlanta, in which he learned that the devotees were making a tea from tulsi leaves. "Immediately stop it," he exclaimed. He was very disturbed by this news and declared that such tea should not be made even for Lord Jagannath during his yearly convalescence. Balavanta also questioned whether the devotees on travelling Sankirtan could eat bread made from karmis. Prabhupada replied that they may not, unless it is an emergency situation. In any event, he said that such food cannot be offered to the deities. As a substitute, he suggested they eat farina fried in a little ghee with sugar added, or puris, because these would last for 3 or 4 days. So no bread, from the shops. So it's nice instructions that Prabhupada gives, you know, because otherwise we won't know these things. Recently I have been trying to improve my standard of cleanliness because Prabhupada frequently refers to me as a mlecha. Still I continue to make mistakes. Today, as usual, after prasadam, Prabhupada sat out on the veranda in his chair. As Tamal Krishna Maharaj and I sat at his feet, he admired the vista of Sri Mayapur Dham, occasionally making short comments. Prabhupada asked me for a drink of water, and I reached out for his silver cup. In my eagerness to serve him, I moved too quickly, caught the top edge with my palm, and almost knocked it over. In the act of recovering, I poked the tip of my finger into the water. I was caught in a dilemma. Should I inconvenience Srila Prabhupada by making him wait while I empty the cup and get fresh water? Or should I offer him the cup even though my finger had touched its contents? I offered him the glass. A wrong decision. Prabhupada shook his head and gave me a sour look. Then he laughed and quoted from Bhagavad Gita, Pravritya na nivritya cha jana na vidur ashura. You are simply mlecha, Prabhupada said. In an attempt to rectify my bad habits, I have begun to take 3 baths daily, one upon rising, one just before massage, and one in the late afternoon. Still, it seems very difficult to know what a fitting standard of cleanliness is, although, due to Prabhupada's association, I am learning gradually. Also this morning when I was offering Tulsi Puja and then the ghee wick fell, and you can see I'm not a pujari we were going to light the wick and offer it again, but Maharaj, pointed out, leave it alone and just go on to the next item. So like this, we learn from our senior Vaishnavas, So then Prabhupada is teaching. If your finger goes in the water, it's contaminated. So throw it out and offer new water. The other evening I told Prabhupada that sometimes I wonder if I will ever come up to the correct standards. Brahmanical cleanliness just doesn't seem to come naturally. I explained that at home, before becoming a devotee, I had been practiced to bathe not more than once a week. So, yeah. So for some, being a devotee is not easy because if you only had having a bath once a week and then you suddenly, now you have to become a Brahman. Brahman means suchi, you have to be clean. Yeah. Prabhupada assured me I will learn gradually, but he also laughingly agreed that for a Westerner to be clean is somehow a very artificial condition. Yeah. So then the last part is, immediately after lunch, Prabhupada went upstairs and took his afternoon nap in one of the rooftop rooms on the roof. He enjoyed the fresh open air. The setting was so peaceful and quiet that he has decided to stay up there every day from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m., taking his massage, bath and lunch all there. So it ends there. Anyone wants to add anything, make a comment or any questions? No? You want to say something? No? Maybe add something.
What you spoke is very nice. You're speaking about the cloth.
Yeah.
It has some bearing at times. Like if we all with the white cloth and just one person is with the saffron cloth, they're more likely to give him the donation.
Yeah, that's true.
It has some effect, So I thought about that, and you're speaking about myself. So when I was in India, I was encouraged by Bhakti Virabhadra Maharaj and Swarup to even change my cloth. So I was thinking about it, and Giriraj Maharaj approved something like that. He said you could do it. So
we're waiting for it.
Yeah.
Because on Harinam it's all white. We need one saffron at least.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Yeah. So encouragement of the devotees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Things you said, we made all very nice points. No bread from shops and making tea with tulsi leaves and all. It's very nice. Do something for Krishna, which you're always doing, and we really appreciate you for that. I like the example you gave, like Krishna is managing through the demigods and your own realization. It was also very nice. Yeah, so many things about sannyas. That was also very nice. That it's not the cloth. That was.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking of, you're talking about cleanliness. And Prabhupada did different things in different time, place and circumstances. He did different things,
Yeah.
Like somewhere, I think in Russia, he asked for the lota from the bathroom to put the sweet rice inside. So, it's like circumstances.
Yeah. Time, place and circumstance.
So it may be in an unclean place, but in other place he said you shouldn't drink water from the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's like contaminated in one sense, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess time, place and circumstance.
Yeah. How It's true, but I guess he was teaching the principle of cleanliness. It shouldn't touch. Your finger shouldn't touch the water. So thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Maharaj, you want to add anything? Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thanks. I actually was thinking, because you was speaking about chanting and stuff, and how it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's simple, but also not simple.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking, when I first joined, I was actually taught that I should chant with devotees who are more advanced than me.
Yes.
So we should always be eager to actually chant with other Vaishnavas who are more advanced than us. Because now it's actually a practice to actually leave the association and basically
Yes, the temple room is empty.
chant ourselves. Because what happens if you are chanting with devotees, they may be across the room, but if they chanting is more advanced than you, then that energy
Yes.
that they have, it actually affects everybody.
Yes.
And then also collective energy, and effort, although we are chanting individually,
Yeah.
but by the association, it actually becomes easier.
Yeah. We're feeding off their energies
Yeah.
also. Just like Vishnu Jan Swami, he was saying. So someone asked him, like, Maharaj, you always so enthusiastic. I never seen you, now one day that you're not enthusiastic. And how do you do it? And then he said, no, I'm not always enthusiastic. But I have to act enthusiastic. So when I'm chanting in the kirtan, and people see that I am enthusiastic, they become enthusiastic. And then when they become enthusiastic, then I become enthusiastic. Yeah, something like that, So we feed off the energies of each other. Yeah. I also like to chant with devotees. Like you said, we all joined around the same time. And I remember when we used to walk around Tulsi. you, Akrura, myself, Parit Bhavan came a bit later. Yeah, so it was very nice then. Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu always encouraged us to take serious the chanting, and he's still helping us. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, we chant in the temple room, and I also, always sitting in the temple room and chanting. Yeah. But sometimes I can't hear myself because I'm hearing others. So they're chanting louder, so that's why sometimes I'm forced to go outside and chant, because I like to hear myself.
Yes, that also.
Yeah, that's also there, because we found that, and Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj made the comment that if you chant loudly amongst many people that are chanting, then that's being abusive. That's a comment he made. So, for me, sometimes I would be alone, then I would enjoy it chanting, because there's nobody. So it's not that we like to go outside, but rather...
I guess different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, what's more favorable, for like when I was with Giriraj Maharaj and we were serving him, I was chanting outside.
Yeah.
So he asked me why, because why, then I gave some excuses and all, But anyway, what's the real reason? I said I chant loudly, and he said, okay. But then anyway, he didn't say anything. Then I went and chanted. Then now when I'm chanting, I couldn't hear myself.
Yeah.
So at some point I just broke loose. I started chanting loudly. Then he stopped me. Then I got upset. I was not happy. Then I got used to it, chanting slowly. But that I couldn't really count that as rounds in one sense. So it's different for different people.
Yeah, definitely. We're all individuals, so it'll be different for everyone. Yeah. But the point that we should hear ourselves chanting, that is, I think, most important. Yeah. Yeah. The tape on. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Segi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I think
Hare Krishna.
while on the subjects of chanting, I think we should respect guidelines of volume of chanting, which is you should chant just loud enough, for the person next door to you not to be able to hear you or can barely hear you. Sometimes we find we can hear the person chanting from across the temple room. You know?
Yeah.
So all devotees should just bear in mind. Because it is the guideline that I heard from Vaishnava etiquette.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, do what's most favorable for us. Because it's difficult to please everyone, you know? Yeah. I know, I also, I think I chant loudly, you know? Yeah.
Sorry if I may interrupt. I also fond of, sometimes I carried away myself. I know that.
Yeah, we
Therefore,
know that. We know that too.
I chant with association, especially
Yeah.
when Maharajas are here,
Yeah.
for just 3 rounds, then I disappear.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
go to the Tulsi garden and I chant Maharaj loud rounds.
I guess the thing is, like Virabhadra Prabhu said, do what's favorable for us. But the most important thing is that we trying to take shelter of the holy name and trying to chant attentive rounds. You know, that's most important. I think. Yeah. Maharaj, maybe you can enlighten us more. You know, you doing some japa seminars and okay. No, he's okay. So we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ke jai.